purposes only. Although I am a licensed clinician, I'm also just a person. I love to be able to be in my real life and speak from that point. And that's where this podcast is coming from. So enjoy.
Searching for truth, looking for answers. There must be a way to another day.
Hello. Welcome everyone to Keanvenient Truth.
Hi.
Happy Sunday. So I was folding laundry, and as I was folding laundry, because my shows have ended, right? So Severance is now gone, has ended, and now I have to wait 2 years for it to come back. And White Lotus comes back on tonight. Okay, I got that one. I finished my raunchy Temptation Island. That's done. So now
now you can spend time with your husband.
So now I started watching Adolescence.
Nope. Don't have time.
Now I started watching Adolescence since all my other shows are done. Oh my God, this show. I literally just finished the first episode, but as a parent, babe, as a parent, it really makes you like, oh my God. So like, it's basically about this 13-year-old kid, who's being accused of murder, right? And basically it's like taking you through the steps of what that looks like and everything. And like he's 13, so like his dad is there with him and stuff like that. And his dad's just like, he's just like believing, like his son, like everything he says and stuff like that. And you see the dad's like emotions going like up and down and kind of confused. And at one point the dad looks at him while like the lawyer steps out and he's like whatever it is, like tell me the truth, like da da. And the kid's just like, I didn't do it. And then they go into the questioning with the cops and everything, right? And the cops are like bringing out pictures. You were following her at this time. She was right here. Then they pull out a video that, the cameras outside on the, took of them getting into a fight. And then he like pushed her on the ground. Now he's punching her, right? So it's not looking good for him right now. I don't know if he did it or not, but like it's not looking good. And the father, like all I kept thinking in that situation was like, imagine, like if this was your child, like this is the person that you gave birth to, for Christ's sakes. Then they're like strip checking him. They're telling him to take off his clothes and strip search him. And the dad is like, he's 13, lad, because it's in the UK. So he's like, he's 13, blah, blah, blah. Like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't okay, And the son's like, it's okay, dad. So the cameras are great because the camera goes away from the son who's getting strip searched, right? And just focuses on the dad. And you see just with the tension in his jaw and like wanting to jump in and be like, get the fuck off my son, but like not being able to do anything because the fucking cops are there and this is like a murder situation, like, and being so confused. It is so intense. And I was thinking about it. It has me thinking like, I mean, I believe Soul when she starts crying when you've been telling her that she actually did poop in the toilet. And she's like, no, I didn't. And then I'm like, babe, maybe she didn't poop in the toilet. And you're like, I saw poop.
Like the shit's right there. It's still in there.
Right. And I'm like, well, she didn't poop because now she's crying, right? I think that might be me. Like, I might be that person. I might be that parent that's like, I'll believe my kid until the depths. It's like, they're sitting there, they're like crying, and then you just want to save them, but you can't.
I mean, I think I want to believe her too. And that's what we're doing is we're developing that trust that we can believe everything that she says. It's kind of it's a long process, I think.
It is. I think what scares me is because, kids, it's like, I do believe that someone can come from like a, somewhat healthy family, because who really is like 100% healthy? And, once they get into adolescence, there's like shit going on. There's school stuff. There's this. Lord knows if you're being bullied, blah, 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 whatever's happening, right? Like you're hanging out with friends, social media, da, 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 whatever it is. And like, I can see how like these kids nowadays can find themselves in really fucked up horrific situations, not purposefully or intentionally, right?
Mm.
Really wanting to do something like that, but just like ending up in that situation. And it's horrifying as a parent, like horrifying.
Yeah, must be.
I mean, you have no thoughts on this?
I can't relate right now.
Remember that
So
movie
it's
that we
like,
saw, The Lie, where like the daughter was like basically lying about killing her friend or whatever, but she actually really did, but the parents were like believing her and all this stuff, and but it was an actual fucking lie.
vaguely, yes.
And you and I were like, holy shit. Because if that was, we were like, if that was soul, and I was like, if that was soul, I'd be like, bitch, turn yourself in, right?
Well, unfortunately, as a parent, I mean, the way that I would end up interpreting the whole thing and looking at it is I would have to take an extreme deep dive on myself and say, like, because I'm the one that raised her, trained this person to be this way, whether it's manipulative or whether it's a liar, whether it's whatever. I feel like I would feel like I've contributed a great
Responsibility.
deal to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, obviously, when a kid gets a little bit older and they're like teens or something, you know, that they're hanging out with other people that you
There's
don't have
so
any
many
control
different
with.
factors, right? There's so many different
But
factors.
that's why I like so hyper focused now that she's like 5, 6, 7, 8, like on the fundamentals of like being honest, and like we're really driving that in, and she's really testing it right now too.
Yeah.
But you know, we're developing techniques and just ways of like showing her that we still care even though she's done something wrong, and we don't want her to be scared to explain that to us. But it's a
So
process.
she's asked me, like she's actually said things like she's like, Mama, you'll still love me even if I lie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I'll still love you even if you lie. Of course. However,
However,
because I can't just leave it like that, you know, like it's like I don't yeah, I'm gonna love you if you lie, but I mean like
well,
Jesus,
she's
like
just trying to play you.
I don't want you to fucking lie, you know?
She's just she's finding the loopholes. She's looking, scanning, constant scan.
Anyway, if you're a parent and you have not seen Adolescence, again, I just finished the first episode. Watch it. It's really it's like excruciating, but like it's so wild. It really kind of puts a whole nother thought process layer of like we're raising like this is big. Like when I went to that support group for first time moms who had postpartum, and I said I was sitting in that group and I was like, I feel like I'm not doing anything. And the clinician looked at me and she was like, this is the most important job that anyone will ever have in their lives. And now I'm watching the show and like I knew that at that point, but now it's like I'm like it really fucking is. Like we're actually raising a human being to be put out in the world,
Right.
and keep our fingers crossed that you're going to actually be healthy, kind, respectful, loving, not racist, not judgmental, not a murderer, not this, not that. Like it's like, whoa, the pressure.
Biggest responsibility.
It's huge.
Dude, this is why I like passed out before like we even had Soul, because like I was thinking about all these
on
things
the toilet, he passed
prior
out.
to that. I was like, oh my God, this is like I'm about to jump into the biggest responsibility of my life.
Yeah, I didn't think that deeply into it at that point. I was just like I was like, yeah, you know, we're having a kid. I'm so excited. But like, I'm like, holy shit. Like, we're responsible for everything.
It's crazy. Everybody does it all the time, every day. People popping out kids.
They do, but it's like they're going into it like I was, you know, just like, all right, we're popping out kids, you know, like you're not
in
really
a way
thinking about it. It's like
in a way that's like I'm envious of that. I wish I could have been like that, but maybe it's like, you know, different people, different ways of thinking, different roles, moms and dads and stuff, you know. But yeah, that's how I was already thinking about that shit 6 years ago.
Man.
Like, this is gonna be crazy. I don't know if I could do all this.
I mean, really, truly, I see her cry and I just want to like, it's like even if she does do something wrong and I know she's lying and I know she did, I will still want to rescue her when she's crying.
I'm over it now. Like yesterday she cried. Like it was a simple thing. What was it? I was trying to, oh yeah. So what was it?
It was something really dumb.
It was so dumb. Oh yeah, because she got all like riled up because like we've been trying to cut back on certain snacks and stuff like that, right? Because of she's got like this like little like mucus kind of cough thing, and I'm thinking it's because of like she's eating a lot of carbs and stuff
Carbs,
like that.
food,
So
yeah.
we've been cutting back dramatically on that stuff. And so she just finished lunch, which was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So there's a bunch of carbs right there. So I'm
Mhm.
already like, okay, you just ate that. We gave you that to you earlier. You had a good breakfast, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so then she's like wanting like these like crackers. And I'm like, dude, you can have like fruit, you can have apple, orange, or whatever. She's like, no, no, no. And it's like building up. She's getting all pissed off. And then she's like, I want these. I want these. I was like, all right, well, you can have them, but you need to chill out
Right,
first.
that's
Because
what
she was like crying and like hyperventilating. So I was like, all right, listen, let's do a quick little like meditation, which by the way, I'm saying this, but she never does it.
right.
She's never actually done this. We do meditation every single night. She knows how to breathe.
Mhm.
But when it comes to the moment where she needs it,
She doesn't
she
do it.
refuses to do it. So I just said, hey, listen, all you have to do is take 3 deep breaths with me. I'm going to give you the crackers and we're going to go chill.
That's it.
And she just said no. I was like, well, that's how you get the crackers.
That's it.
Then I
Then
put
I
the
came
crackers
home.
away. She starts bawling, flipping out. And then Aaliyah just so
I come
happens to
home.
walk in at that time. And I'm like, yo,
And
good luck.
then
Because I'm
she goes
just,
right to me.
Daddy
Mama,
Daddy
Daddy
didn't.
didn't give me crackers. She's sobbing. And I'm like,
Well,
okay,
my whole
all
point though
right.
was she started crying. I put the crackers away. She ran over to the couch and she's just like bawling. And in those moments, I don't give a fuck because we just had a good conversation. She knows what I'm talking about. We've done these types of things before. I get it. She's like emotional, but like maybe should I? So then what? I should go over there and be like, oh, it's okay, but you still can't get the crackers. Like,
No, but did you see what? No, but I feel like, what did I do? I think I was just like, okay, like I was like, okay, so Daddy told you to calm down, just take some deep breaths, and then you can get the crackers. She refused to, I sat her down, right?
Mhm.
She refused to breathe, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to switch this. So I was like, how about this? Do you want to do maybe something else? Maybe we can get one of your calm corner toys. Maybe we can go draw for a little bit, something to distract her to calm her down.
Mm.
And then that worked. And then she got her crackers. But you like, you just, that was like it. And you couldn't move any other way.
It takes so much energy just to get to that point.
Yeah.
Then like to think of like alternatives. I just let her like sort it out on her own. Like,
But you just get very irritated. And then you just don't want to really, like, you need to, I think you need to like start kind of like going down different avenues. Because if that one didn't work, clearly it's not working. Maybe she doesn't want to breathe, but maybe she'll do something else. Breathing is not the only way to calm. You could introduce her to several other things to do in order to calm.
right, but in those moments, probably none of them are gonna work. She's
She
already
did them.
very
She
defiant
did it
towards
with
them.
me in the moment. I went, remember
To you, what did you guys do?
we went to go paint.
Oh. Well, that's just like a different activity. So
Yes, but painting, anything artsy, anything like that, creative is a great activity to do to de-escalate emotion. That's a great coping skill.
yeah. Well, okay, I guess. It just seemed it's like everything was perfectly fine, and then it's like this ramping, and I'm like, I don't know. There's something in me. It's just like, okay, I was very calm. I was like, just I'm just asking you to breathe a couple times so you can chill out, and then I'll give you the crackers. No big deal. She just refused, and this is what I feel like this is something that needs to be like really worked through with her. Like she is one of those people that will destroy her whole life just because she doesn't want to do something that she thinks is wrong or whatever. Like I don't know what's going through her mind.
Yeah.
But like we're trying to help her, but she doesn't realize
But
that.
again, you're not giving her other options. The only option you gave her was to breathe. And she's like, I don't want to fucking breathe. But she did something else.
All right, well, I guess I gotta fill my toolbox with some new
Yes,
fucking
fill your
options of
toolbox with
like,
some coping skills and then show
mm,
her that there's several different ways of coping rather than just breathe. Sometimes I don't want to fucking breathe and I'll do something else.
all right, good. Well, start teaching us then, because I'm running out of things.
What do you
Like, I
mean
don't.
start teaching you? You mean to tell me that you have no other coping skills besides breathing? You can't think of anything else that's going to invite. See,
shit.
you wanted her to do that by yourself, like by herself. See, you were on your when I came home, you were on your phone, well, just completely disengaged. So like
Yes.
you want her to do something on her own, but like she's also 5.5. Like, so you're gonna have to also, like assist. You can't just be like, here, go 5.5-year-old and go figure it out. Like
Ugh,
she's 5.5.
why not?
I don't understand why you wanted to be a parent. I'm so confused.
It's just, I don't know.
You were
Listen, in
like
those moments, I just
dying to be a parent, yet you get so irritated and just want her to be like an adult at 5.
not an adult. Just listen. I'm working through it as well. You know, it's a whole process, and this is where like every parent fucks their kid up somehow, right? This is probably my thing.
Well, you got to change it because it is going to fuck her up. And then I'm going to be all resentful because you fucked up our kid.
I'm sure she's getting fucked up from you too, a little bit maybe. Like the whole reason why she is so defiant to do things is because of you. Because you're the exact same way. You want to learn the hard way.
And I
like,
don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong. Everyone learns in their own way. Okay. There's no right or wrong way to learn.
but there's a reason why you learn that
I
way.
learn through I have to do. I have to just go through it myself. And
You know why?
then I learn.
Because your dad probably did the same shit I'm doing.
Well, my
because
dad
he
was
was a single dad.
My dad was a
just
single
like,
dad, though. I
all right,
feel like
figure
my
that
dad
shit
had
out.
more of an excuse to be. He was a single parent with 2 girls, right?
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, you don't have that.
Well, yeah, but I did that. But then you come in and then you give your side of it, and it's a perfect balance. That's why we're so great together.
This is why. So what I don't want you to do anymore to me is I don't want you to get annoyed or complain whenever she kicks it back at you or whenever she treats you the way that you treat her. Don't complain. Don't do anything because she's just giving it right back to you as she should.
Okay, we will see how she gives it back to you in the future. And I will note that on episode 92.
Okay.
There was another thing I kind of wanted to get into, but it was a little deep maybe, but like from last night, our conversation about
Sex?
no, not that one. The other thing about which frequency or which energy has more power.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was we kind of went into it last night, and
I was also
but it
drinking
was
those
interesting.
THC CBD
Yeah.
drinks, so you got me in a really good place. I was on can 2 at that point.
Yeah. It was
Now to go
interesting.
back there, I could have the conversation, but the passion behind it is
Right.
gone, you know?
Right.
Was a
Okay,
moment.
so then let's get into I got a couple clips ready to roll because I'm a nerd.
I am not responsible for this episode today. So whatever comes up in this episode is all Joseph.
Well, I thought it would be nice to actually have, you know how it's like we're like scrambling, like, oh, where is that clip?
Yeah, because we're so last minute.
Yeah, so I took a little time today and I actually lined a few things up that I thought were interesting.
Okay.
Now, at the end of last episode, we ended with like the freaking pyramids and these structures underneath
that was
them.
crazy.
I thought it needs a little bit more extra stuff to talk about because I think it's way deeper and our history as human beings is like significantly longer than what most people think. So I follow this guy named Billy Carson. And he is basically an ancient, what would you call him? Do you know Billy Carson?
No.
Oh, you don't even know. He's like basically an ancient philosopher, and he studies Egyptian history, and also this thing called the Emerald Tablets, and all these different archaeological discoveries throughout the world. And he's kind of connected the dots, kind of like Graham Hancock, who has that series called Ancient Apocalypse, which is amazing if you've never seen it. It really kind
Joe
of
Rogan talked about that show.
it kind of gives you a different perspective on how old things are, where we come from, what's the real history, because it seems a little skewed from what we've been told. But anyways,
Surprise.
so he was on Alex Jones, so I'm sure everybody's gonna like shit on this, but whatever. And then they put a clip of him discussing everything that's happening today underneath the Giza, in Giza. So
The Pyramid of Giza.
yeah, he's talking about the structures below, what they are, what they're for, all this other stuff. And this was like 3 years ago. And he learned all this stuff from these things called the Emerald Tablets, which were like these literal emerald tablets with writings on them from literally like 30,000 years ago.
BC.
I don't need. That's way BC. That's super duper BC.
I have this thing, guys, with BC and AC.
Well, because I think you gotta. That's another thing too. Like we're all like, oh, like 1400. That's a long time ago, or like even 1100. Whatever you were talking about the
So
other
I
day,
think
something was
it
1100, right?
1100 or 1200, and that was BC.
Right. But like
from what it said,
that was literally so 1100, and we're at 2025. So that was like, I don't know if I got how many. That's like 900 years ago, something like that. I might be off.
Well, I mean, it was 4,000 something years ago
Jesus
when the
Christ. My math is way off.
when they were doing the pyramids. Remember
4,000, almost 5,000. Yeah. So then minus 1100. Yeah, like 925 years ago is 1100 BC, right? So yeah, 900 years ago, that's a lot for us because most people don't even live to be 100 years, right? But the discoveries of like what he's talking about here are like thousands of years ago, like multiple thousands. So it's hard to wrap your head around some of this stuff, but let's just listen to what he has to say here, and then we can kind of discuss real quick. Okay. Pull it up.
Here is Billy a few years ago talking about this, and he was on a few years ago with us talking about it, and is being vindicated. So here's a short clip, and then we'll go right to him.
The Great Pyramid at Giza and that plateau is a multifunctional platform or plateau. The Great Pyramid is a multifunctional stone computer, number one. It used to be a power generator, so it generated power as the water used to flow underneath it from the Nile. It's now meandered very, very far away. But back then, it ran right up to the pyramid, and the empty tubes have actually been inside of underneath the pyramid are still there where the water used to flow. When you have running water underneath crystal magnetized granite, you create something called physiostatic electricity. Those ions rush up into the chamber, and they will go into the Grand Gallery. The Grand Gallery used to have resonating rods. Now, the rods have been removed, but the slots where they went up the Grand Gallery are still there till this very day. Then that energy would be pushed into the King's Chamber, which you've been in with me, right? We meditated in there. Inside the King's Chamber, now that area is like a fusion chamber. And the energy would shoot up through the top, through the apex, and now you have wireless energy. Nikola Tesla tapped into the same exact understanding of how that worked and duplicated it with the Wardenclyffe Tower. Now that wireless energy would transmit around the area, and the crystal granite obelisks would capture it. And then if you had something called a JED, a DJED, it looks almost like a Tesla coil with a cable coming out of it. You'll see it in Egyptian hieroglyphs. It's connected to light bulbs and other technologies, electric gold plating. You can then power it wirelessly from the ambient electricity that's been transmitted from miles away from the Great Pyramid. That's just one purpose.
Interesting, right? Did you even follow along with that, or was that a
No,
lot?
it was too many words.
Those
For me. It was too much stuff. I was like, physio what?
So
I had no
basically,
idea.
he's saying that he believes that the pyramids were running on hydrogen energy
Yep.
that was from a river,
From the Nile River.
flowing, creating motion past, this hydrogen, processing plant, which is the pyramid, and then it created wireless energy. Now, if you go back and you look into some of the hieroglyphs there, they actually had these big long things that look like light bulbs. And actually, some people say that some large vases that they used to have everywhere, they were made out of clay, but the precision on them was like so precise, were actually like lighting devices.
Interesting.
Wireless.
Not to side this for a second, but I gotta tell you, when we were gonna play a video, right? And then Alex was introducing this man right here. Instantly in my mind, I was like, I just thought like, oh, it's gonna be like a white man because I just felt
really?
that.
Did
I
you?
just felt that. I was like, all right, and another like white man archaeologist. And then this guy pops up, and I'm like, oh shit, let me find out. I have not seen any.
And his wife
Is he an archaeologist?
He's not considered an
What is he?
archaeologist. I think he's got a background in like engineering.
Oh shit.
But he just basically devoted his life maybe like 10, 15 years ago to like this stuff, like figuring out where we really come from, what is the pyramid really about. Like he takes people in groups there actually and takes them underneath the pyramid in the tunnels and stuff.
I mean, I'm here for that. I am here for, even though I don't really consider myself like a woke person, right? I am very much here for learning about and finding out and just like seeing like minorities in these like really amazing, like just like, like
his wife is
areas of life, like doing dope shit.
His wife is some sort of Asian.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I don't know if she's Korean or what, but
too cool.
But anyways, yeah. No, I just thought that was like interesting. I mean, he goes on to talk about these emerald tablets, and then it goes on to discuss how this guy named Thoth lived for like thousands of years, and how he did it was he created bodies. I know all this sounds like super crazy, but there's these underneath the pyramids, there are these like huge tunnels, right? And then within the tunnel, on like, think of a tunnel, and then on the sides of the tunnel as you go along, there are these humongous like coffins, and they're like super thick, and the whole thing's probably weigh like 700 tons, right? So to get it down there, and then in the tunnel, and then into this thing is impossible. And then you can't even open them. They're like perfectly sealed, right? And the ones that they did open, they had to actually just use dynamite because they don't even know how to open these things, right? So, but in the myth or whatever, within the emerald tablets, which are real things that were really discovered, and it has a story about it, it says that he used those to recreate human bodies that he moved his consciousness into.
Hold on. This just got...
I know. It got a little conspiracy, but...
It turned for a moment right there. So, say that last part again. So
this guy named Thoth.
Yes.
That Egyptians at the time, years and thousands of years ago...
BC, right?
way BC. He kind of ruled over them because like he had all these like this knowledge and power. Anyways, so he, within the emerald tablets, it actually describes in great detail how he recreated physical bodies. He didn't like clone
Like
or
he
anything.
recreated them how?
That's something.
Oh, no one
I
knows.
don't know. Right. But
Okay.
if you go down there and you look, and it's called the Halls of Amenti. That's what I was talking about, where you got your like coffins and stuff.
Mm.
It's described in these emerald tablets. And these are underneath the pyramids that nobody like knows about. Like
Wait,
they was just recently
so
discovered
no
not
one's
that long ago.
seen these
No,
emerald
they
tablets?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, no, they were discovered.
So
Yeah.
if it says it on the emerald tablets, why hasn't it come out yet? Like if it's
It
known
has
now
come
and it's-
out. It has come. He talks about it, but other people, archaeologists, they don't talk about it because I don't know why. They're like, I don't know, it's either they're hiding something or what. But
So basically, it's safe to say that there are most likely, because this would make sense to me, right? So archaeologists, right, are basically the people who are going to be really in charge and setting the tone for history, right? Like what we figure out, things that we figure out from long time ago, etc. Right?
sort of, yeah.
Archaeologists, we got paleontologists, we got all the ists, right? But that's like a big deal. And
Yeah, it's a
so, I mean,
prestigious
it's a
label, and like
huge, that's like a huge deal.
right.
So you would think then that the government would want to have their hands in that pot in some way, shape, or form because it's too big. It's too much.
I mean, if what I'm saying that's on the emerald tablets is
Right.
true, then yes, it's way too much. Like or they believe it's too much, or they want to have control over the
That's what I'm saying. They
information.
want to have control over like the
Right.
history of stuff that comes out, blah, 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 because they've already been going this way, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they were just right. There's some,
Yeah, it's interesting, but
and then there's rogue archaeologists that go rogue and they're like, on Alex Jones and all this stuff. But then it's like they're like the CNN or whatever is gonna make them look crazy, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, that's the world that we're living in.
That's it. Okay.
So, but hold on, so he was creating human bodies to do what with them again?
To transfer his consciousness into the new body. So so this is the crazy theory, right? So how like you can probably agree with this, right? All religions around the world, they all have the basic fundamentals, the same baseline,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
The same kind of stories,
Mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm.
That's because with the emerald tablets, they're saying that it is just one person. There's
Wait.
one person who's lived for so long because he's able to move his consciousness into these bodies, and then he goes to different parts of the world where he rebuilds the civilizations. I know. Listen, just go look it up yourself. Go look up emerald tablets. Actually, Billy Carson, he has his own book. It's called.
Was that the guy who we just?
Yeah,
Is that Billy Carson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a book out there. It's called something about emerald tablets and Thoth something.
Okay. I like the way he speaks to his voice.
Honestly, I'm just learning about this as well, and I'm trying to dive a little bit deeper. I have not read about the emerald tablets. Billy Carson actually has a new documentary out. He says it was like $500,000 budget, and it was this whole crazy thing. But it's on his network. It's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4. But yeah, it's all. Listen, if you're open to looking into other avenues of like how history actually really was, then this is an avenue you can check out. Not to say it's the truth or whatever, but it's very interesting, especially with like these newfound revelations with like the stuff that's under the pyramid and the stuff that is in emerald tablets that is saying exactly what is down there, and it's describing what we're seeing. So I don't know.
You know what though? I gotta say, like, even if I think about like just like meditating, right? And getting into like a crazy serious meditative like trance, right?
Mhm.
Which I've been in. Like, and I feel like compared to what they're saying in the Emerald Tablets and what though, or whatever his name is doing. I feel like that's like, on a smaller scale. But if I have to like even use that as like a focal point, I don't know, man. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually is something that could happen, because honestly, like when you really get into a meditative state
Yeah.
and
you're
you
out
are
there.
really in a trance, you are in it. It's like, whew, like your whole, it's like, I can't even explain it. It's like I'm there, but I'm not, but I am, but I'm not. It's almost like I'm like depersonalizing for a second, or like like moderately dissociating, but I still know where I'm at, what's real, what's everything, like, and I feel it in my body, and I am just mentally, literally somewhere else.
The question that's been coming up lately is like, what is, especially because of like AI and stuff, is like, what is consciousness and where is it held? Is it in your brain? They've actually discovered that it is not in your brain.
Well, where is it?
It's in the energy field, but it's just you're the housing for that specific frequency at this time in history, right? So then it's like you're an avatar for the bigger program, and there's somebody, I don't know. It's like the question of consciousness when you're talking about like meditation, you're able to, your body is here, but you're able to essentially come out of your body mentally. And like that's where consciousness really lives, right?
Right. But in order to do that, you are using your brain.
Are you?
What am I using? Just
Energy.
so the brain's not doing it at all. It's just energy.
Yeah. The brain is like a receiver for that energy. So the consciousness controls your body. Something to think about.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like when I meditate and when I start, right? Like I'm in my mind. Like I'm like trying, like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, I'm setting an intention, right? So there's thoughts there. There's just like kind of like imagery, there's colors, but I'm trying to bring myself to a very calm, peaceful place. But I'm using my brain
Initially,
to
you
get
feel
myself there and do that.
initially you feel as though that you are, but like once you're able to, like I talk to Jay about this all the time, and we do this throughout the day, is we take moments, and it could only be maybe like 1-2 minutes or something, and I'm able to just kind of like lift out. You just take a breath, and you're able, once you've practiced many years and like over and over again, you can just boom, be there and then be back without like purposefully sitting and being like, okay, I'm gonna not think, and like that's just your I don't even know, like your ego, like your whatever's like inside your brain, your thoughts of like what environment and culture and how you're raised and all this other stuff. That's all that's talking, right? But when you're talking about your consciousness and getting into like this meditative state and being in that zone, that's you. That's the real you.
Right.
And that doesn't live here, really. It lives here. Supposedly. I don't know. Do your own research. This is how I feel.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Did you
yeah.
see that? Did you see that Utah banned fluoride in the drinking water?
Oh, they did. What a conspiracy.
That's a thing, guys. So for all you guys out there that have been drinking fluoride in your water.
Yep. Utah banned fluoride, and then what is the other state? There's another state.
I feel like Florida was doing something.
Well, I think Arizona banned chemtrails.
Ah, yeah.
It might have been a different state, but it was like one of those states.
Did that.
So states are banning conspiracy theories, I guess, or truths. Okay, another thing I wanted to get into was Elon Musk. So last week, him and his like Doge team, they
Oh, that's his
had
team?
they had an interview on Fox, and they're basically just sitting there talking about what they're finding, how they're going about it, what's happening, like very open and honest. And the people on this board, one of them is the former the what was he started like I think Airbnb. There's a bunch of like executives on here that they just want to use their skills that they've developed in the real world to help make government more efficient, save waste, all this other stuff. They're not getting paid for any of this shit.
Right.
Um,
Also, I still don't understand why people and again, this is, coming from someone who doesn't really follow all this stuff, but like I don't really care if like Elon has access to like I'm
right.
like I don't know, like has you want access to my stuff, like my stuff, like I don't really have
Here's the other thing
anything. I
too.
mean, like
There's been someone in the quote unquote the Elon Doge position every single time we have a new president. Like there's always somebody there trying
that's
to
doing
the
it.
efficiency
Right.
committee or whatever, right? But they don't do shit.
Clearly they haven't.
And
yeah.
you never hear about them, and they don't come up with anything because they're probably just like paid off to shut the fuck up because there's so much shit that's going on. My opinion.
Interesting.
Okay, so I just want to play this little clip of them talking about Social Security because that seems to be like this big concern, especially with
Yeah.
older people.
Yeah,
They're like, "Oh my
yeah.
God,
My mom
Elon's
said
in
she's
there and he's gonna
concerned.
take away our Social Security."
Right,
That
my
is
yeah.
not. That is like very far from.
Well, let me
the
hear what he has
actual
to say
truth.
because
Mhm.
Esther is concerned.
Oh, well, Esther should watch this episode. Okay.
There's a lot of mystery about Social Security and a lot of words about it from, here's what Democrats have been saying about it.
It's absurd that Elon Musk is trying to eliminate billions of dollars from Social Security.
Elon Musk and President Trump have set their sights on cutting Social Security.
Their goal is clear: destroy Social Security from within.
You're in the building. I mean, you're in the computers. What's happening there? What are you doing?
Yeah, it doesn't line up with my experience on the ground. And I'll say the two improvements that we're trying to make to Social Security are helping people that legitimately get benefits, protecting them from fraud that they experience every day on a routine basis, and also make the experience better. And I'll give you one example is at Social Security, one of the first things we learned is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the phone calls that they get are from fraudsters.
40%?
That's right. Almost half.
Yes, and they steal people's Social Security is what happens. Is they call in, they say, they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day. And then somebody doesn't receive their Social Securities because of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of Doge, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of Doge, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
All right.
So that makes sense because if 40%
Right,
of
are frauds,
people, yeah, and if they're able to
then
get
they're
rid of
cutting
that,
right, they're cutting that out.
that
which
means
that
money is from the Treasury
would
is
be
going to
getting more.
40% of Social Security retirees, quote
Who
unquote, and it's going nowhere. It's going to fraud bank accounts that aren't supposed to be getting Social Security. So if you
Right.
could bring back that 40% and then distribute it out to the people that actually do get Social Security, Jeez.
And let me tell you, I actually, what he was saying though, I feel like definitely true, because mom has like been having issues with Social Security, where like at sometimes like she didn't get her check, or they were telling her that she wasn't going to get it. It's like always a
Right.
back and forth.
I'm going to tell you why in a second. I'm going to play this clip. So where they keep the Social Security is in a mine.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. Hold on. See, I wish oh, here we go. Mine of information. There we go. Watch this. Okay. Bring this back up. Yeah, so everything is so old school at Social Security that's why they're so behind. Everything's paper.
On X. And you'll see just outrageous things, one outrageous thing after another.
Joe Gebbia, besides Elon, you're one of several billionaires here, co-founder of Airbnb, and you wanted to help out.
I bumped into Anthony and Elon probably back in February, and they told me something about a mine that was dealt with retirement, and they said they needed somebody to help out to fix retirement in the government. I love the challenge, so I jumped on board, and it turns out there is actually a mine in Pennsylvania that houses every paper document for the retirement process in the government. Now picture this. This giant cave has 22,000 filing cabinets, stacked 10 high to house 400 million pieces of paper. It's a process that started in the 1950s and largely hasn't changed in the last 70 years. And so as you dug into it, we found retirement cases that had so much paper, they had to fit it on a shipping pallet. So the process takes many months, and we're going to make it just many days.
Will it be digitized, or how?
Absolutely. So this will be an online digital process that will take just a few days at most. And I really think, it's an injustice to civil servants who are subjected to these processes that are older than the age of half the people watching your show tonight. So we really believe that the government can have an Apple Store-like experience, beautifully designed, great user experience, modern systems.
Because right now it's by hand.
Yes, the retirement process is all by paper, literally with people carrying paper in manila envelopes into this gigantic mine.
So they can't retire more than a certain number every month.
Yes.
About 8,000 a month.
That's how the reason we discovered it was we were saying, like, well, let's encourage voluntary retirement. They said, well, the most they could do is 8,000 a month, and even under normal circumstances, it can take 6 to 9 months just to have your retirement paperwork processed, and they often get the calculations wrong. So we're like, well, why would it take so long to retire? And they're like, well, because of the mine. And you're like, what do you mean a mine? What's a mine got to do with retiring? And
It's insane. So they can currently only retire 8,000 people a month because of the fucking slow ass process.
This is insane, and I am not like, just yet again, not really all that shocked, but it's crazy. Like, of course, do you know how many I feel like how many areas, or what am I trying to say? Like, so like there's Social Security, right? And then there's, I don't know, name another like
Department of
So
Education.
there's different departments,
Yeah,
right? Okay. And in many of these departments, it is a fucking joke, because to even get a hold of anything is like ridiculous.
Especially
right?
out here
Like,
in Rhode Island.
Rhode Island's like
everything's like
fucking
paper.
old.
They must have like a deep ass
Everything
mine
is-
out here.
They have a huge mine. It's in like Woonsocket somewhere.
I think it's
okay?
a Woonsocket mine.
It's like really like insane. But so many departments I feel have that, because it shouldn't take a long time. Like, if there was an actual proper system set up, it shouldn't fucking be taking this long for anything. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just confused. Like, do they play these clips on other news outlets?
I don't know. It's like there's Fox, but some people shit on Fox, but
like,
to me, I don't give a fuck what station it's on.
But it's the whole thing.
They're
Like, so
talking
it's not a
about
clip of it. It's like an actual thing. They're talking about it on Fox. I'm hearing
it's a
what
whole
they're
half
saying.
hour long
I don't
thing.
really care what news station is on. To me, what he's saying, what they're all saying it makes sense.
Now, mind you, this mine has been there for like over 50 years or whatever, right? And every person that has, every new president, every administration, they've all known about this.
Yeah.
And they don't do
And
shit
have done
about
nothing
it.
about it. Right.
They don't do shit.
But yet
you don't ever
everybody's
hear
so
shit.
upset.
Now that you are hearing shit, you're only hearing shit because they're doing something about it and they're telling you what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know why everybody's so mad. This is
don't-
actually an amazing thing. Don't you want your systems within the government to
fucking
work
work.
efficiently and to be able to like call for your retirement, and you get somebody on the phone and they're like, yeah, no problem, we're transferring
Quick.
it over to like today, like
Fast.
like we can buy Apple phones like that, you know, we can have
Right.
customer service for all kinds of other shit. But
And
what
don't
about
you not want your money to go to, I don't know, someone or something else because it was a fraud, you know? Like I just don't understand what the issue is. This to me sounds just based on
well,
that.
you know what it is? It's
I'm just going based on what I just heard from them. It sounds very
well,
logical
you know
to
what
me,
it is
but I
like
don't know.
the first clip that we played on this when you had all those like congressmen and senators
Mhm.
talking about how they're trying to steal your
Oh,
social
yeah.
security.
Yeah,
They're injecting fear through the media into
Right, but my thing is like
citizens'
because I
minds.
don't really watch news at all, right? What else though goes beyond that? So in all those different clips that we saw, right? When these other news outlets and people are basically saying, you know, that Trump administration is trying to take Social Security, Elon's trying, right? What are they saying after that? Because if someone says that to me, I want an explanation as to like, okay, how is that happening?
What are they
right?
doing?
What are
Yeah.
they doing for that to happen? And what I'm hearing right now doesn't sound to me like that's happening. But what are the other people saying that's happening? Like, what's
Interesting.
the reason?
I don't know. They're probably saying because they're a bunch of billionaires and they're just they're greedy and they just
Trying
want
to
to
do
take
what?
your
They're
money.
billionaires. Who
I
the
know
fuck they make their own money.
dude. If I
Elon
was
Musk is perfectly fucking capable
Yo.
of literally continuing to make money for the rest of his life. So is the fucking Airbnb guy on there. So is anybody else. They don't give a shit about the money that we fucking have. They are billionaires.
right, if I was a billionaire, this would be the last job I want to be doing.
Last,
I don't want to be doing this,
what?
but
Not
I
getting
understand.
paid.
I would be like, all right, because I'm a billionaire, I want to, give back or somehow like, so I'm going to utilize my skills as a AI person or rocket scientist, all this other shit,
to
and
help make the
let's
system
make
better.
our country better.
But people aren't seeing it like that. People are literally seeing it like what's happening is like the worst thing in the world. But I'm like, this is why I ask, what is the other side saying? What is the reason from the others? Can we pull up some clips from the other side?
I mean, I don't know what I would have to say.
Can we hear what they're saying? Like what the reason is? Because I just heard this reason, and that to me sounds basically extremely great. So I'm confused.
Elon, how about that? Let's see if we can find something real quick, because I lined up these videos nice, but I didn't look.
Yeah,
for
but you
this,
should have lined it. Yeah, but whenever you line things up, though, babe, try and also do like the opposite side too, because I want to know what the opposite side is saying.
Okay.
And what the explanation is from them.
All right, let's listen to this. Well, it's not a congressman, but it's what they're saying here. Let's see what they say.
Yeah, I get paid to be out here.
You get paid to be out here?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, never mind.
Nothing.
Yeah, that's not it. It's an anti-Doge person that get paid to be there.
Anti-Doge. You have to pull up a clip from like
I don't know
MSNBC or something.
What would you search? I mean, I don't even know what to search. Fucking, I typed in like Democrat freaking Elon. Let's,
I would probably search like CNN Social Security.
CNN Social Security. Okay.
Honestly, let's
All
see
right.
what pops up.
We won't waste too much time on this, but let's see.
It's like CNN Social Security.
Like, oh, CNN doesn't have
The
videos
media
anymore.
continues to spin Doge claims. That's somebody else.
What, this one?
About it. No, go up.
All right. That's what that's.
This guy's talking about CNN just told their viewers there's zero evidence behind Doge's fraud claims. Really? Because an official audit report from 2015 exposes exactly the fraud Doge uncovered. Right, that's what I'm saying. So there's evidence, right, that they're actually pulling out, and they have evidence saying, hey, this is the fraud. But then the other side is saying, no, there's no evidence. They have nothing.
Fear among millions. Yeah, here we go. Here.
President Trump insists he is not touching Social Security, but he is touching Social Security jobs.
7,000 of the 57,000 jobs, or about 12%, are being eliminated. And Lana Zak tells us that has many of the more than 73 million recipients worried.
At the
Hold on, by the way, maybe because they're fucking wasting your money doing nothing, running into mines to collect fucking paper.
Right.
Maybe that's why they need to go.
I mean, like, I get that it's a job and you're trying to give someone a job, but I feel like it's also fucking up the system in another way. So,
right.
I mean, like.
Okay, continuing on.
Weekly senior lunch social, North Liberty, Iowa. Chicken was on the menu, but Social Security was top of mind.
It's scary. What do we want the politicians in D.C. to know? This is our life.
Are you afraid of what might happen?
It's stressing, wondering what's going to happen.
Iowa, like the rest of America, is aging. 1 in 4 people here is 60 or older, so uncertainty in Washington means anxiety here.
Do you actually have nightmares about this?
I would say daymares.
Every day you're worried.
Every day I'm worried that somehow he'll lose his care.
Ann Bacon relies on the $1,600 a month from Social Security.
Also, by the way, they're not saying anything.
Is Iowa a red or a blue state?
I don't know.
No, I really want to know the question.
I don't know. I
Answer
can't
to
be
that.
searching all this stuff.
I'm just saying because I mean that was a whole room of a bunch of people, let's say above 60, and I'm like, that was in Iowa. Is Iowa a red or a blue state? Because,
oh right. Because it.
I mean, if that's who they.
But either way, they're not really saying anything. They're like,
no,
are you
it's
scared?
just going
yes,
on about
I'm
right.
Scared.
It's just
about
like,
what though? Like, why are you scared? Like, what are the details?
We tried calling this afternoon.
The estimated hold time is greater than 120 minutes.
There you go. There you go. That's the Social Security, right? So Elon's trying to fix this. Like,
so interesting.
And think about it. Like, yeah, you're firing people, and like, there's people with jobs right now. Nobody's picking up that phone. Like, these are all the people you're concerned about getting fired from the Social Security. They're not even doing their job.
This is so interesting.
Anyways, I can't spend
no.
on this. But do your research, please. Like, just like look into it. Like, he is.
But both sides too, and I would like to really do, because I don't want to be very one-sided, but so I definitely want to see both sides. But right, like when I do hear, I'll hear one side, and the one side that I usually hear is just a lot of like frantic, like, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, but there's no like, okay, so like get into the details with me about it. But then when I hear the other side, and I'm like, all right, well, that was communicated.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like,
so
anytime like Doge comes up with like some new thing that, oh, we found $80 billion in waste in this department or whatever, like the congressmen and the senators, Democrats usually are like, oh, he's trying to like shut this department down or this whatever, like. So then they're never like talking about actually the details of the fraud that they've discovered.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's always blaming.
Like what about the $80 billion that you just found?
Right.
Do you care? You're not going to debate that?
It's totally dismissed.
Right.
Right. It's never brought up. And that's what gets me going with that, is that like it never gets brought up. It always gets circled back to, okay, but he's trying to take this out.
Yeah, and be scared. Just be scared, and we're going to take care of it.
Found all this money was being like, so why is that not being talked about? And I don't understand that. To me, that I'm like, it makes logical sense. To like, okay, you found this. This is what you found, and we've had people doing this for God knows how many years before you, and it took you God knows how, and right. Also, my other thought is like, why would I guess what people are really thinking that a bunch of billionaires are going to come together to tap into our system, and they're doing all this work for free, by the way, to what, take your money? They made their money on their own. Those
Well,
are so Elon Musk wasn't brought up wealthy, was he?
I understand the concerns, like the more about like probably power, right? Being in a powerful position, right?
They're already in powerful
Because
positions.
there's, have you ever heard of like an oligarchy? Like,
Yeah. But like
so
they're already in powerful positions. It's Elon Musk, for Christ's sakes. Even if he wasn't a part of this, he would still be in a powerful position in the world. The guy fucking creates rockets.
right, but if you're, you know, if you have the ear of the president of the United States and things that you say can maybe possibly influence, that's where I think I get it. People get a little kind of like concerned.
Okay.
But I would encourage those people to do more research on Elon, like listen to like full interviews, like an hour long, even a half hour, you know, whatever, even if it's like take your time, listen to like 10 minutes of it one day and then another 10 minutes of it the next, like, but listen to the whole thing and like listen to how he talks and like how he runs his life and like how he manages his businesses. Like, he seems like a pretty ethical person to
I
me.
think that's what I'm looking for, because I'm not trying to defend anyone here, but I think what I'm looking for is I would like to find, or if maybe someone can send us, right, like an actual whole clip footage of the other side actually explaining what they are saying is actually really going on, without blame, without dismissing the fact that all this money was actually stolen and all this stuff, without doing any of that. I just want to simply hear you just explain.
Let's just see. Let's go to the Democratic Party page. Now, I'm not like anti-Democrat, but it just so happens that Democrats at this time tend to be the people that are talking about these things that you want to hear. But probably not going to find anything on their page.
I mean, someone's got to be someone's got to be having an educated conversation with actual detail.
Oh, look.
What?
This is on all right, hold on. Let's just listen to this.
What's
I'm not
this?
exactly sure what this is, but it's on the Democratic Party and it's got to do with Social Security. So maybe this is, but of course, look, it's only 20 seconds
Joe
long.
Biden. Isn't it? It's an ad for Joe Biden.
No, this is only a couple weeks ago, March 12th. Oh, 2024. What
Yeah,
the fuck?
it's
The
2024.
Democratic Party, like,
They don't
they
fuck
don't even
with X.
update their fucking.
They don't fuck
oh,
with X.
shit.
They don't fuck with X.
Interesting.
Because Elon owns X, and they seem to really don't like him.
Well, this would be like the place where they should go to like vet
Elon's
out
AI guy or
vet out
team
their
owns X.
Democratic Wins Media. How about that?
Do they update?
See if they're update.
No.
No, oh my God.
Democrats don't like X.
They
So
should
is
be on
X
there though.
X is just it's just for it's for non-Democrats? Is that what's happening now?
I
It
don't
seems
know.
like.
If I was a Democrat, I would want to like make sure I was on here to express my
So then
viewpoint.
express that. Yeah. When's the last over here? 2007.
This is 3 hours ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so liberal Democrat.
Liberal Democrat. What's the difference?
I don't know.
Reading a Trump tribute. What?
You want to listen to this?
Yeah, I kind of want to hear a little bit of the other side.
All right, let's see what he's saying.
With Trump in the White House and Farage leading a Trump tribute act here in the UK. Our role in British politics has never been more essential.
British politics. That's different.
Our precious liberal values are the only antidote to the...
We're going nowhere and we're straying here.
All right. I just want to find, I just would like to hear it.
It's hard to find. What if we just go to CNN.com? How about that?
All right, this is the last thing we're going to do. We will find a Democrat talk and answer the question for me in detail.
I don't know.
Jesus, there's so much on there.
I know. We'll go to watch here, I guess. Oh,
There's got to be something about Social Security.
oh, maybe I could type it in.
Social Security.
Sorry, guys. And I have another video too that I think you're gonna like.
Okay.
You don't have time?
Mm.
Well, we've been wasting
I know,
time on this
because-
shit. That's what I said I didn't want to do this,
Hold
but
on.
you're
Social
making
Security
it.
Administration delays and curtails new anti-fraud policy. O'Malley, Trump admin trying to crater social. Okay. Go into that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know what that word, what crater.
I don't know either, but I feel like it's negative.
Probably. Although, is this even a video? Yeah. There we go. Oh, hold on. I gotta switch fucking things. Share this. Okay.
Is to ensure that every beneficiary receives their payments on time, that disability claims are processed in the manner they should be.
That was Wall Street businessman Frank Bisignano, the president's nominee to run the Social Security Administration. And he was at his Senate confirmation hearing today. But just yesterday, sources told CNN the current acting commissioner said on a phone call he's rushing to make service cuts at the request of the White House that may make the job more difficult. Some of those cuts, they may include laying off 12% of the workforce, closing 47 field offices, and limiting what can be done over the phone, requiring more retirees and more people with disabilities to go to an office to request their benefits. Here now is former Social Security Administration Commissioner for the Biden administration, former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. I appreciate your time.
Sure, Phil.
I want to start with the hearing itself. We heard from Democrats, including Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island, making very clear the concerns about what the actual end game here is for the Trump administration. I want you to listen.
I've never thought about privatizing. It's not a word that anybody's ever talked to me about, and I don't see this institution as anything other than a government agency that gets run for the benefit of the American public.
Let's hope that that is the way this ends. Thank you.
That's the Rhode Island guy.
Get my guarantee I'll make it end that way.
You trust that guarantee?
I don't, because I find it ludicrous, laughable, and not at all credible that he's never ever thought about privatizing Social Security. I mean, this has been a Republican playbook for 40 years, and he's never thought about it. It's clear every action, Phil, that they've taken since this nominee was named and put his own person, Mike Russo, there, every decision is about.
Hold on, I just want to say, in that moment, they're just like, he just injected his like own like thoughts on this. Like, there is no word that said anything that he's talking about right now. Like, he's just saying, oh, he said no, but like, I don't believe that. So here's my thoughts on if he does go to privatize. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not an actual, it's not based on
I mean, I was getting
anything,
that
really.
too, but like, we haven't seen the whole video. It's
You wanna
too
keep
long,
going?
so I
It's
mean, I
like-
get it, but like, maybe we'll have to watch it on our own because I can't make a judgment until I really
About
watch.
breaking this agency's ability to serve the public. They were already at a 50-year low in
That's what it
staffing with all-time high beneficiaries because of us baby boomers. And now they're paying people to quit. They are telling people they have to go into a field office. So they're jamming up the field offices. It's pretty clear that they're trying to turn enough of the public against the agency so they can either privatize it, disband it, and I think actually go after what's in the trust fund.
You think that's the kind of end game here? Because that's been one of my questions is why I understand trying to find fraud, root out fraud, the misinformation related to the alleged fraud, I think is significantly problematic.
Yeah.
But the why here is what I don't necessarily have my head around.
I don't understand it either, but I think the nominee was less than candid and perhaps less than honest when he was answering the questions to Senator Wyden
what leads you to
about
believe that?
whether or not he'd been approving these decisions inside the agency.
Okay,
And here's the question, Phil. If he hadn't,
But again,
There's no factual information in any of this. This is just his
right.
opinion.
But again, I'm confused because again, he's saying that there's no explanation as to why it is, right? That they're trying to, I guess, do all the stuff that they're doing and finding all the fraud and blah, blah, blah. Like, why? He's like, the question is why. And then the guy just said, "That's a great question. I don't know why." But then I'm like, I just watched a whole clip of Elon Musk and his team actually communicating and explaining why. So
Right.
I understand why based on what they just said. It's so interesting.
It's basically, I think that, there's some politicians out there that are banking on people not paying attention and not having enough time in their day to actually go and listen to the full interviews and or listen to podcasts or whatever it is. I think there are a group of people that are like that are just like very busy, and they're doing their lives, and they hear clips and they just take whatever and they react emotionally, right? But I think there's a great number of people who are on the rise of like actually doing the work and looking into things and actually thinking like logically about all these things that are going on in the world, and that those people are like rising to the top, and it's kind of showing itself.
Well, I
that,
think another thing that I pulled from that video too is it seems, and I'll have to watch the rest of it, but it seems as though the focus again from that side is really like, I think that the narrative that they're going with, or the route that they're going with, is that, which is actually kind of like it it is true in some ways, right? That a lot of people are going to end up losing their jobs,
Right.
And so that's what I heard in that too. And I think that's what they're focusing on.
Yeah.
Which again makes sense to me coming from that political party side, right?
Right.
That
But
makes total sense.
but there's
to me.
no logic behind why. All right. So yes. Okay. So one, it basically they're saying, oh, it doesn't matter why or whatever, but they did. So they'll believe them that they say they're going to cut 20% of a department, but they won't believe them when they say they don't want to privatize things. It's like basically they're choosing whatever they want to hear, and then they're pushing that forward.
Again, to me, what this is again a classic case of just basically in terms of, again, one, what you feel is most important to you in your life based on your morals, your values, your ethics, your whatever, and that's that. Because again, neither one of these sides, from what I'm hearing, to be honest, I don't think either side is wrong. Even the Democratic side, I'm hearing, if the push on this is because all these people are going to lose their jobs, there's going to be it's going to turn out to be right, all these things, man, I get that. That's fucked up, and it sucks, right? Because I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I also understand what the fuck Elon was just saying, and I'm like, shit, that sounds great. I actually do think that the system needs to be run better, and I want to know where the fuck our money's going and stuff like that. So they both make sense to me.
Yeah. My thing
mean,
is like at this point when we've hired all these like federal workers to do all kinds of different things, right? Everybody can agree that government is inefficient. Everybody, even the Democrats, even these people, right? They have to, because it really is. I mean, look at the phone. They were making the phone calls with Social Security. It was like, your wait is like 100 minutes or whatever.
It's crazy.
Like, but like, so oh, fuck, I lost my fucking. Damn it! That happens all the time.
Does it?
It does.
It
seems to happen
when you were high, but
yeah. Oh no, what were we just talking about?
I was saying that I understand both sides, and I think.
Oh, right. All right. So yeah. So okay, but if you're, say, running a business, say you own a business, right, and you got, I don't know, 20 employees, right? 10 of them are literally counting toilet paper in the bathroom every day, like literally pulling the sheets of 1, 2. Like, why the fuck are they doing that, right? Like shit like that. That's useless to your convenience store business or your fucking app business or whatever the fuck it is you're doing, right? If you have people that are working in that business that are not doing things that are productive towards like giving people value, they got to go. I don't give a shit.
I hear what
and
you're saying.
Especially everybody is a taxpayer here too, so that means you're paying that person to count the fucking toilet paper.
Right. So again, I hear it and I get it. And on the other side,
I just think that there were jobs.
It's more of like, but that's a job.
I think there were
and
federal
people
jobs
have to pay for their families and this and that and blah blah blah.
There were and probably still are federal jobs postings for counting toilet paper, right? So yes, like, I think that we as a government, as a society, have fucked up, and we have hired people to do the wrong things or inefficient things, and now we need to clean house. Unfortunately, if you took one of those easy jobs where you're counting toilet paper, then maybe the gig is up and you're realizing, wow, I've been getting paid to do nothing, and you should be just grateful that the American taxpayer didn't find out about this shit earlier. That's what I say.
Okay.
I know, a little assertive, but it is what it is. Okay, moving on. Last one, and I think you're gonna like this one.
I already read the title. So
Okay,
this should
great.
Be fun.
Yeah. I think you're gonna like this. So this guy, he went out and he talked to white liberals and black people, and it says white liberals and black people were asked if they think voter ID is racist, right?
White liberals and just the black population.
Right.
I'm interested.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say that those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs if you do it over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider.
I'm sorry, this is racist in itself.
I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? Do you carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
Why would they?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes.
Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody. Yo, I just pause for a second. Every black person everywhere has ID because they know if they ever get pulled over, they're gonna be fucked. They could fucking die.
I have my fucking ID. Okay,
those motherfuckers know they could die.
I have my ID. There you go, police officer, whatever. So of course we are going to have the fucking ID on us. First of all, that's the shit. This type of shit really gets me going.
Right.
Like it really does. Like when people ask me, when people talk about even the whole college thing or the minority thing, and I have people be like, well, it's then minorities aren't gonna be able to this, and I'm like, but I don't want you to put me in a fucking box and assume
like a baby
and assume that I can't fucking just get my own fucking job regardless. Don't now you're basically taking me and now putting me all the way over here. Now you're making me not equal, and that doesn't feel good to me. So this is the shit that I actually can't stand as a minority myself.
It gets better too.
I will say,
these motherfuckers know exactly. They know the address of the DMV. Everybody. I don't even know that shit. Right?
Everybody that I know have ID. That's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with.
Thank you.
ID. Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the ID is?
125th Street.
It's on 125th Street.
Thank you.
3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Do you have a problem getting there if you have to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
Every motherfucker I got.
That's just stupidity. privacy.
That's
Everybody
racist.
has access
Yeah,
to the internet.
that's
Even a little
racist.
kid can figure out how to work the internet.
Thank you.
I had access to the internet for years.
Look at her.
Thank you.
Look at her.
Use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So of course I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data. You can access the internet with unlimited data.
I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant now. That's my thought process on it.
I just think that's ignorant.
Ignorant.
That's the
Very,
word I hear
very
a lot.
ignorant.
Ignorant.
Very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you know, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Maybe a little bit
Thank you.
racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
Judging somebody, like, but you're judging them because they black, saying that they
You're
don't
judging
got
a
it.
whole population of people. A whole population of people. And that's okay? I am so confused. I feel like sometimes that I live in like Backwardsville or something like that. Like
crazy.
that to me is not okay. When I hear
But
people
you've heard
say
that
shit, yes,
before,
I have
right?
heard that. When I hear people say like, oh, well, you know, because like, you know, minorities or black people don't have this. It's like, first of all, don't clump us into
Right.
one category, number one, because that's actually fucking not okay. And number two, yes, do I agree that there are some people within the population, just like I think that there's some people within the fucking white population that don't have access to internet or anything? Yes. And I think it happens in both, in all. Whether you're fucking white, Indian, this, that. Why is it that it's like strictly this? Like, what about the fucking all of the white people that I don't know live in like oh, you know what? All of the white people that actually are living in Florida in like trailer parks, right? And they have, because I've actually, some of them have been my patients, and they're struggling very much so with money. They actually can't even afford their electric bills, stuff like that, everything, right? But like no one talks about like that's not a thing. Like that's not a thing. Like it's like, why is it just minorities? I'm so fucking confused and I'm so over it always being focused on like,
and also like the percentage of the population that is like it's like so minute that is like
I don't know.
if you
That
take
that I can't say.
But if you take like the whole population of like 300 million people,
the whole population of what?
Of America.
Of America.
Right.
And we're talking about
I don't know. I'm literally talking on my ass right now, but I can guarantee it's probably less than 1% of the population that doesn't have access.
That doesn't
to
have
fucking internet.
access.
Yeah.
No, see, but there's a difference here, okay? Having access to, but then being able to afford it. See, like, although people can clump those into one, I'm going to separate those because having access to,
you can go to the library and have
anybody
access
can have
to the
access
internet.
to the fucking internet. It's everywhere, you know?
It's free.
But whether you can afford it or not in your home, I think is a very different thing.
Or afford an ID, maybe, I guess. But I mean, really, the reality is like, really, how do you function in America as a citizen somewhere without some form of ID? That you need it, like to do all kinds of fucking things.
Fucking work,
right?
So do
even
you
to
think
work,
that we just
so,
like don't work? Like, I mean, this is crazy,
right?
Don't get me going on that.
It's insane. I knew you'd like that.
That one really gets me going.
But okay.
So annoying.
We gotta wrap it up though.
All right, let's wrap it up on that annoying video you showed me.
It was fun.
I actually, in fact, do have an ID. Actually, I have 3 IDs in my wallet right now. 2 of them being Florida,
we're minorities. We have
one
so many
being
IDs.
Rhode Island.
We have so many IDs.
And I have access to the internet. Just in case.
But they're not talking about us.
Why? Why are we so different?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they should find another word for those particular people that actually can't have access to the internet and don't have money. I don't know, because
we are
minorities are just like, you know, a large population of America. So you should probably find a different word.
Yeah.
I don't know. People with no money. People in general with no money.
Live in lower socioeconomic neighborhoods. Like that to me would be different because that could be anything. You could be white, you could be Indian, you could be this, you could be that.
Yeah, but then
don't fucking group it as a whole minority thing.
Yeah.
Like cut it out.
Anyways.
And then this is what continues in the world. But the people who are saying those things are being seen as like they care. They care and they want
Virtue
to help.
signaling. Virtue signaling.
And they want to put Black Lives Matter signs in front of their yards because they're helpful and they want to support. I'm sorry. And although I do believe, now you got me going. Although I do believe that some people are rather supportive, yes. At the same time, though, I think we have to also look into, like, everyone needs to check themselves in terms of what they think. Okay, so you're being supportive, right? You support the population, okay. But you're also on the other side clumping a whole minority of people, a whole population of people, and saying that we don't have access to this or this or this or this. But yet you're supportive. That doesn't support me. That statement doesn't support me in any way, shape, or form.
Well, it's like they're supporting this thing called the nanny state, essentially, where those people complain enough to their senators and their congressmen, and then the congressmen make laws to quote unquote protect those minorities, but it actually usually benefits the politicians and doesn't do anything for the minority. And really, we're just talking in that particular video, we're talking about fucking voting.
Right, we're just talking about voting. And also,
So,
let me reel back here, because again, we didn't see the whole interview of each of those people. They were clips and little sections of things that they said. So I don't know what they said before or after, but I have actually heard people say things like that, like in front of me. And
I mean,
that's quite
anybody
annoying.
could just go out there and do exactly what he did. Just go ask people that shit.
I love that
he might
did
get
that. That
punched
was
in the
good.
face or something.
He did it though. He was in Harlem doing that shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that is my neck of the woods. Yeah, I love it.
All right. So in conclusion, the pyramids could be an energy machine. Elon is stealing your social security every second that we talk.
Yep.
And Black people don't know what internet is.
And if you haven't seen Adolescence on Netflix, go watch it, start it, especially as a parent. It's great.
Yeah. All right.
Have a great rest of your day.
See you later.
Bye. Let's get Soul.